you. And they are off. Magnus having trouble with his chair. Earlier in the rapids, he nearly threw his chair out.
Can't get comfortable. And we have d4, and looks like maybe Catalan. We'll see.
Yes.
Catalan.
Good call. And the open line of the Catalan with d takes c4 and a7, a6. Castles. Knight c6.
All theory.
Standard stuff so far. Exactly.
So Nepo, for the first time, he's in solid.
You know, and I feel really, really good for Nepo because he's had some results after the World Championship match itself. You know, he was so close. The title was in his hands. Then Bucharest was a disaster after, and to see him back on top, it's great.
Actually, we should switch and watch this game because I find their opening fascinating.
What was it? Yes, it was. The fantasy variation
it was
again.
Mirokan, but second move f3.
Right.
Slightly different move order.
Okay. And h4, h5.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of these ideas. h4, h5 here.
It feels like the players are definitely freewheeling. In this one, takes on d4.
They're playing so fast as if they've seen this before. Well, I'm guessing they have.
But it does feel completely new for me as well. First impressions is Black is doing fine. I mean, this bishop on b6 looks really good to my eyes. You know, this pawn on d4, this knight is ready to jump to e5. So if you play, for example, knight e4, knight e5, I don't see why Black isn't a happy camper.
No, I like Black's position a lot because with the pawn on h5 already and on f3, if white castles short, there's so many weaknesses on the king side.
Indeed, that pawn will immediately get attentions.
Would be very happy if they could jump the queen from d1 to anywhere else just so they could castle long.
Right.
But that's not possible, and it would take way too many moves to develop the queen and castle long.
I just don't even know what I'm supposed to do here with in Nepo's shoes because I don't want to castle short for the reasons that you mentioned, including the fact that I've got my pawn on h5. So I have to make room for my queen. He did play knight f4, but then you ask yourself, well, what exactly is my knight doing on f4? Knight is coming to e5. This other knight is coming either to f5 or d5. And it just feels like the coordination is wrong.
I agree, and also even if white manages to castle long, black also has open b file, so I can play rook b8 and I will have some ideas on the b file for sure.
No question about it. Knight d5 immediately. I'm not exactly sure why Firouzja is resisting knight e5, but there is an issue.
The king.
Yeah, the king is on the e file. The other thing, if you don't take on d5 and double up the pawns, you know, you're, well, I mean,
think white might be okay here with king on f1?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking with just the double pawns. The problem is I don't want to take, but I don't want to allow rook e8 and knight e3 when I'm thinking that pawn on e3 might live, and that would be very, very bad news. This is the current position. Clock is a factor.
Firouzja is looking very good. He has 4 minutes, and Jan is down to 2.5 minutes. So definitely white didn't get anything out of the opening. If anything, actually,
it's
black is definitely better already.
So our tournament leader, Nepo, facing his first challenge of the day here as Firouzja starts with a win. And, well, in Blitz, nobody's higher rated.
And Magnus did mention yesterday the only player who has the most potential in the Blitz is Firouzja, he said.
Right. Queen e2. After, I want to say kind of a long think, I'm just going to refresh my board.
Wow.
Queen e2.
In g4, was not expect. I guess he's stopping f5, but
that's what it's all about, right?
It's just looks very risky. Knight c5, maybe.
Knight c5. I like that move a lot. I've also just for some reason I've got knight e5 on the brain, focusing on that bishop. But knight c5 does the same thing, and maybe what you were saying about rook b8 and knight a4, potential of attack against the pawn on b2. I like knight c5. It gives that option, the additional chance. Bishop c7. Oh, that's an annoying move.
Forcing white's knight to either trade or step back.
Well, if I step back, there is a bishop g3 check. That could be disruptive.
Well, I can't take on d5.
I definitely cannot take on d5, that's right. The move g4, right now I'd like to play the move g3 and protect the knight. Knight went back to h3.
I guess if bishop g3 check, Nepo is planning to play king f1, king g2. Of course, it's unpleasant, but it's not the end of the world.
Well, here we go. I wasn't sure about king f1. I thought he might even want to go. Not that I want to play king d1. Let's just jump back to the game of Magnus for a moment. Magnus versus Duda. Let's see what happened. Well, we won't go too far back, but it does feel like
he's up in exchange at the moment.
Exchange for a pawn?
For a pawn, yes.
But those are two connected pass
at the moment.
Exchange for a pawn?
For a pawn, yes.
But those are two connected pass pawns at the moment? Gosh, what do they call that line? Now I'm
Black definitely has compensation, but since he's blocking the pawns...
Rook a4, yeah? Queen.
I wouldn't say that it's game over at all. No,
those two connected pass pawns, you don't want to underestimate the power of the pawn. c5. I like that move. That's a good fighting back type of move. Queen to d1, intimating that the damaged king side might allow for queen g4 check.
Yeah, but the queenside pawns for black are so good, and your rook on a4 now has to stay there.
Yeah, you're kind of committed to blockading.
So I'm not sure how strong white's advantage actually is. How serious?
We want to take and play queen d4. And
let's say I play king f8, just like Magnus did earlier.
King f8, I take on c5, you take on c8, I go queen d4. It's played f5. So if we do take and go queen d4, the pawn on f6 isn't hanging. But I'm thinking that I want to play rook a1 ASAP.
Black will play knight c6 to defend.
And that's why I wanted to trade queens on d4 so I can play d5.
I think d5 right now is also interesting. I know I'm giving you three connected pass pawns, but I'm creating one for myself as well.
I understand. So d5 takes rook d8, yeah?
And then e4. Because I really want to open up e-file and use my rook.
So, I mean, I have the feeling that you do that, Nasi, and it's sort of like a lot of bridges are being burned. h4, h5, okay. Possibility of h6 and setting up some mating patterns. Maybe h6 if I'm black. To get out of that, to prevent h6.
Yeah, I think I would not want to allow white to play h6.
Exactly.
h6, then d takes 6, and queen d4 still looks like a good option.
Right.
Yeah, this is still early to say.
I still think it's 3 results. Yes. I mean, I do like the exchange for being an exchange up, but yeah.
But I think our tournament leader is going down in his game.
Oh, really? So we'll switch back. We'll flip back to the game between Nepo and Firouzja because we saw it. We left it with bishop f4, g4. Whoa. Who is attacking whom? f4, g4.
See, I think Anastasia mentioned earlier that in Blitz, heaven knight is a very dangerous thing because knights are very tricky.
Yeah.
And I would actually rather be black in this position.
I was about to say, knight c6, if it provokes the move d5, the knight would jump to d4, and then f3 check is on tap. So that was why Magnus played the move rook e4. He didn't want to see the knight, but then came b3.
It is very strange to see that white is using the major pieces, queen and 2 rooks, to defend the pawns.
Exactly. We just saw the move e5, so after d4, instantly, Duda's playing like, hey, I'm the one with the attack.
But
and Magnus is saying, no, wait a minute. I've got attacking ideas as well. Look at my potential. Queen f6. Uh-oh.
Whose king is weaker?
And the clock times?
Clock times. Magnus has an advantage. He has 30 seconds, and Duda has only 5 seconds. He has to
5 seconds to
make
30.
moves instantly.
King g2. Okay.
F3 check looks good. I don't know if it threatens anything, but...
Well, he's got to do something.
I guess on king f3, knight d4 comes in with a check, and maybe I can take on e6 with the knight.
And somehow survive that. Okay. King takes f3.
We're going
Knight
to see that
d4
happen.
check.
If king g2, knight e6...
And he's done.
Black's king looks safe with the knight on e6. Safer than it was
for
before.
sure. Magnus c5.
Oh,
ooh, queen takes b3. That was big.
The b3 pawn.
That was a big pawn.
You should have played queen b5 and kept the pawn alive.
By the way, he's stepping into a nasty pin is Duda. Queen b8 check, king h2. I love that. By the way, clock times are
just
huge.
A few seconds.
And there goes the piece.
Just brought the piece. And he won.
Oof.
He just outplayed Duda and just